catching up with one of the biggest beauty influencers in the world who's launched her own beauty brand. Deepica is here, and we're going to find out how she's built a beauty empire. Well, first of all, I want to start off by saying welcome to my show. Deepica and I met by...
We did. Fluke accident,
even though like we were sitting across each other. But I totally vibe with her. And
it was fate.
It was fate. It really was. Because we meet a lot of people.
Agreed. Every day. But I really liked your energy.
I liked yours.
Yeah. And your dress was like, you couldn't miss it. Was it your dress or your eyeshadow? Something with
both.
neon.
It was both neon.
There
yes.
You
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. So here I am with Deepica. Deepica, I don't want to murder your last name. What's the proper way to say it?
You know you're Armenian because you got my first name so right. And usually no one does. So the right way to say my last name is Mutyala.
Mutyala.
Yeah, but you know, people say Mutyala, which is fine.
I'm going to say it the way you say it.
Okay.
Deepica Mutyala.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Love it.
You
Culture.
hear it right here.
Into it.
What I love about Deepica most is that, like, not only is she a hustler, she's working day in and day out to make her dreams come true, but she's a big dreamer. Like, she's got this vision that's even beyond what we all see, and I feel that vision, and it's a vision to incorporate diverse women and bring them to light and not have them like hidden in the back.
Yeah, it's
right?
time.
It's
it really
time.
is time. I think like I grew up I was in Texas. And so I was very much in a place where I literally dyed my hair blonde. I got blue contacts. Not kidding. I have to show you the photo. I have to show you the photo because like it was a mess of a situation, but I just wanted to look like everyone around me. Yeah. And so when I got into the beauty space, it was kind of like my mission to change that. So like girls growing up today just like loved the things about them that made them more connected to who they really are. Like now I'm like obsessed with my bushy brows, my big old South Indian eyes. Like those are just things about myself that I used to not like. And so, yeah, my mission now is to just kind of change that narrative and make it so it's kind of like you're more proud of what you have about yourself that's unique rather than trying to mask those things.
I love hearing that because, you know, when I started my career, I started 12 years ago. I changed my last name to Madison because nobody could say MacPopian.
Wow.
And because Madison's my stage name because nobody would say MacPopian. And it would be embarrassing. They would stop at times at like shows I would do and they'd be like, how do you say that last name? I mean, I also dyed my hair blonde. I went to UC Santa Barbara and I thought I had to assimilate. So I dyed my hair like bleach blonde. I had the blue contacts that like, you know.
Avi.
But now it's such a wonderful time, and being a mom at a time like this, I'm really excited for my daughter Colette because she doesn't have to like do that. Like you don't have to try to assimilate. Like it's a time where we're all celebrating.
Do you feel like she's proud of her Armenian heritage?
Colette, I hope she's gonna be proud. You know, she's 3, so she's
okay.
Yeah. We're still trying to
we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I hope she's gonna be proud, but like I think by us setting the steps and setting, you know, putting everything together for the future generations to come, like they are not gonna have a problem with it.
It really is exciting that like I think that when I started on the corporate side of the beauty industry.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So where did you start? And because you've been only doing beauty blogging for 3 years, which is crazy.
As a beauty influencer world of 3 years, but before that I was at L'Oreal and Birchbox.
Wow.
So I did like the corporate side of the beauty space first, and I was always like, I'm gonna be a brand marketer for L'Oreal, go to Harvard Business School, make my Indian parents very happy, and then start my own beauty brand. That was like my like path in my own brain. And then when after L'Oreal I ended up at Birchbox, which was incredible.
And wait, what did you do at L'Oreal?
It was brand management. It was like
so you weren't picking up coffee. You weren't doing any of those.
I mean, of course I was too. Like it was very. I mean, yes, it was an internship. So like it was about learning how to brand build, though. Like for sure. And I mean, yeah. But you're at the end of the day, you're an intern. I did that at Birchbox too. You know, like it's a startup, and I feel that way. God, I'm gonna sound so old, but I'm like kids these days. The work ethic. Like I did anything I needed to do to learn about this space and get my like opportunity. You know, like no matter what it was, I would do everything from assistant related work to VP related work at Birchbox. Like I got to go to meetings with the CMO of L'Oreal. Like how incredible was that? And then like lead meetings. But then I would be in the closet organizing things if I had to, because I think what I did there, though, was soak in any and every opportunity. And I think that's why the founders gave me the opportunities that I wanted. Yeah. I told them that my dream was to start my own beauty product line one day. And so when they started doing in-house product development, they gave me the opportunity to do it. And I think that's what it is like if you prove your worth, especially at a startup, you get amazing opportunities.
But I think you said something really important that's key. And this is something that I learned too when I did my internships at Entertainment Tonight and E is learn how to do everything. Like don't Don't think you're better than the job. Like, you learn how to do every aspect
What was E like?
You know, I worked with Juliana Rancic, and it was exciting to be as an intern there.
Of course.
And she actually gave me the best advice, and it goes along with what we're talking about right now. And she said, learn how to do every job.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was funny because when she told me that, she was actually in the editing bay as a host, to be in the editing bay, and like she's working with the producers to edit. You know, I don't think people imagine the like talent to do that, but she was in the editing bay and like telling the producer what to do, and she's like, learn how to do everything. And I was like,
that's good advice.
It's a really good advice. And like hearing you talk about it at Birchbox, like,
so my actual role was account manager there, and but I also did content for them. I did their monthly videos, and I started to learn how to do that.
And is that where you grew like a passion?
I think it's so funny because I didn't know how comfortable I felt in front of a camera, but I think at Birchbox is when I realized, like, this is fun and easy.
Yeah.
I get to just be myself and, like, share this. And what was so exciting was the Birchbox, like, subscribers were so excited. They were like, wow, like a brown girl. Because you just didn't see that on the internet. And so that was really exciting to me. And I started to grow a small social following. And then they had a team working on influencer partnerships. And then they were like, are you interested in working on this? And I was like, absolutely. Again, like wanting to learn anything and everything I could. And then I recognized, I was like, wait, these girls are getting paid to make videos from home, like, and they're getting how much, and brands are doing what, and where is the brown girl? And I kind of just had this moment where I was like, this is the new wave of marketing. And it was like one of those things where I was like, you know, my friends ask me all the time my beauty tips and advice, and I've always shared it in some capacity. Why not create a centralized place where they can go? So that's like the birth of my YouTube channel. Like in January of 2015, I picked up my iPhone that I don't have right now. We can get to that later. I don't have a phone. And I held it vertically instead of horizontally. Like I literally had no clue what I was doing, and filmed a video using red lipstick under my eyes to hide dark circles. And it got picked up by BuzzFeed, and it went viral.
Yeah.
Changed my life forever. I got asked to come on the Today Show to do this segment on air, and I quit my job that day at Birchbox. I was kind of like, you know what? When do you get this opportunity to build yourself? To one day, what I wanted to do was still build my own dream brand. So didn't do the HBS thing, build myself as a beauty influencer. It was kind of like my business school, and I got to like try every beauty product in the space, learn about this space, and now launch my own brand.
By the way, that's such a beautiful story. Congratulations. And I like to hear that.
I simplified it, but you and I both know it was hard hustle, grind. Like when you think it's going to be hard, it's 10x harder.
Well, it's really hard being your own boss.
Yeah. You're your own manager, assistant. I was my own lawyer for a minute. Thank God that's not the case now because that's scary. Agent. And, you know, like I remember my first brand deal when they called, they were like, so what's your day rate? And I was like, and I just like threw out a number, and they were like, sure. And I was like, I could have said like 3x more.
Yeah, right.
But that's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
And now I know. And it was just like one of those things where I was editing my own videos, but starring in the own videos, and like I would have like an assistant at email and like start emailing brands as if I was like, I'm blah, blah, blah's assistant and whatever. And for every 10 I sent out, maybe I got one response.
Right.
And then I just kept going.
So that's a really good tip that you're giving out there to our followers who are looking to follow in your footsteps. Don't give up if you don't hear back. With every 10 emails, you
can't have an ego.
Yes.
Just in every aspect of this. Like I still right now, like am the one. I'm so happy I know how to do all this production stuff that we're looking at, and I know you do too. It's just like one of those things that it's a skill you need to have. You don't want to be dependent on anyone else. Like I said, I was my own assistant and my own agent, and you have to be your own production manager. And that hustle in you is why you're able to handle the 10 no's to get that one yes. It's gonna be like that though. You gotta. I mean, and it's not even like you can take it as a hit to yourself. Sometimes these people you're not within their budget. There's certain cycles for why people are hiring certain people. And for me, I saw it as a win. I was like, wow, the brown girl actually is getting a moment. That one person said yes. And yes, I felt like I was the token brown girl in a lot of these campaigns. But that used to not even be a thing. Right. When we grew up, there was no token brown girl.
No, so the blonde hair and the contacts.
Yeah. And then we started to get the token black girl and the token Latina chick, but like everyone in between. What about everyone else in between? And still, obviously, within even the spectrums of black and Latina, there needed to be more. for all of us, you know?
Right. I mean, I feel like before people didn't really know what Armenian was. They're like, is that an exotic fish? I'm like, no, it's a country. It's you know,
that's true. And I had no idea you were Armenian until,
really?
But you said it right away, which was cool. You were very proud of it.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it. Although I changed my last name to Madison, I'm very proud to be Armenian. But for a long time, I was ashamed of it.
But I get why you changed it to Madison for the time that you entered the industry.
Well, I'm like a problem solver to begin with. So for me, like I had a problem.
Yeah.
Nobody could pronounce it. And I was like, I don't want this to be an issue to lose a job. And I was like, let me change it.
So smart.
If I was starting out today, it'd be a different conversation. But I don't really regret the name I have because I like the person I became with the name. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the person and the brand I built with the name I really like. So I don't have a problem with the name.
I used to go by D because I was so like, no one can understand Deepica. And then I was like, you know what, but they need to.
Yeah.
And because the time I started in the public space, I was like, yes, Savannah Guthrie, yes, Dr. Oz, yes, Juliana Rancic, you're going to learn how to say my name.
Yes.
Like anytime I've ever done TV, it was like, that's an important thing because there's girls out there that feel the exact same way and they feel like they have to change their name. And it's just changing that narrative, you know?
What is that? So you launched your product. Let's talk about your product.
Yeah. So after doing the beauty influencer thing for 3 years, I was really excited to get this brand going. And then it was like, okay, do I call it like Deep Beauty and come out with one red color corrector and then launch it and see what happens?
Because that's smart that you realize this is what you're known for. I'm going to like take advantage of it.
So that's what I would have done if I had launched the brand the minute the video went viral or even a year after the video went viral.
You had no idea that was going to happen. That's the beauty of viral videos. You have no clue it's going to go viral.
Totally. But even a year afterwards, if I were to launch a brand, I probably would have still done it then. But 3 years later, I was like, is color correcting still a problem? Do people still care? This is 3 years later. And the third and most important part was like, after being in this space for so long, I really wanted to make a real impact. And I think you and I have both seen the good and the bad of this space, and that like, I wanted to create more of a movement more than just a beauty brand. And that's why Live Tinted exists today. And I launched it in January of 2018 as a community platform. And every investor I talked to was like, this is like, why? Just launch the product, get the business, build the community. And it was so important for me to, even just from a personal side, launch it as a community first so we could create the voices and what the brand stood for and the DNA of what it stood for. And what's really cool is it actually evolved into being so much bigger than what I thought it would be in terms of who our target audience was because we started that way. Like, for example, we would talk about a topic like, when I first started, I was like, Live Tinted is for every shade in between. And in my brain, I thought of it as everything between white and black. I was like, all the mid-tone people, let's talk to them, the mixed race, Armenian, Indian. And then we started to talk about topics, and other people would start chiming in of all different cultural backgrounds, like hyperpigmentation, facial hair, colorism, identity, where you came from. And I was like, wow, this is a truly inclusive platform, and we have the opportunity to change this industry. And so when I thought of it that way, I was like, I was so grateful to start it as a community first, and they became our focus group. Yeah. So we asked them.
You know the culture of your product before your product's launch. You know the culture, the DNA of who's going to buy your product before it launches.
And we got to just ask them. We literally said, what's your number one beauty concern? And they said hyperpigmentation. So after my video went viral 3 years later, the community telling us that's their number one beauty concern, it was a no-brainer to come out with the color corrector.
So you have this product that's a multi-purpose product.
So that was the other thing. Is like, then I thought about it and I was like, well, why did that red lipstick go viral in the first place? It was using a existing product you had in your home for a different beauty concern. So that's why it was really important for us to test and really make sure, and this is why it took so long, to make it so these three colors worked as an eye, cheek, and lip product and worked as a corrector, because I also wanted it to be, if you didn't have hyperpigmentation as a beauty concern, you could still support this movement and be a part of this community. And honestly, I'm so proud of where it ended up, and I'm so happy that people are loving it, and it's so great.
Well, I went and bought your product, and I bought it.
By the way,
because I mean, you know, I get a lot of free stuff, but it was for the fact that we met at a Shiseido dinner. And you told me about your story and about your mission, and I just was like, I'm involved in this movement. How? Let me know when. How? When? You know, let me know.
It is so incredible that she bought the product, though, because like in this world, I was sending her the product, you know.
But and you noticed it, and then when you had texted me, you're like, when is your product launching? I'm like, I pushed it back, and you're like, I'm launching in a week, and I like literally put it in my calendar a note. I'm like, make sure to buy her product, because I feel like it's really important to really support missions like this that has a great cause behind it.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. But in general,
as an Army girl, I like connected with that. You
but
know?
even just supporting your friends' businesses is so kind of you, because like I felt the same way. That's why I want to know when your product launch, because it's like in this space, people don't recognize, like, yes, we get a lot of things sent for free, but this is a startup. Like we fully are funded based on sales. And for me, the movement and the messaging of what we're building is the most important part, but we can't do it without the business.
Right.
So like the product is sort of the way to keep the turning the wheels to continue this movement of changing the industry and making it more inclusive.
So what are you hearing from people? Like what's
it's overwhelmingly amazing. Like I can't tell you how many people are like, thank you. And it's crazy when you start to create products that are based off of solving people's beauty concerns. There's an emotional attachment to it that is so heavy that I feel myself, right? I struggled with being so insecure about dark circles my entire life. And for girls to say like, thank you, finally I feel like beautiful. I think the other thing I really wanted to change was like, why did we feel so insecure about the dark circles?
Right.
So our whole campaign featured people from the Tinted community, which was super exciting.
I saw that. Really cute.
It was great.
You guys have to check out her YouTube channel. She documents everything. Her Instagram, she talks about everything. It's really cool seeing this flourish. It really is.
Thank
From
you.
Like the outskirts, like watching it, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like this is a movement I want to be part of.
It's just like so pure in the sense that like everyone involved just cares so much and they want their voices heard, and it's so exciting. And the response has been insane. And I think having them be a part of the campaign, I actually asked him, I was like, do you guys feel comfortable showing yourself with no makeup on? Because I think that's going to be really powerful. And we didn't do any Photoshop in the campaign.
That's amazing.
Because like it's just like almost crazy how much we've become used to the Facetune culture.
Yes. I'm guilty of it.
Of course. And vice versa. Same. Like I would be lying.
I'm guilty of it.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't either. But
I wish we had Facetune in real life. That's what I always say. Like where's Facetune in real life?
And that's the other thing is like, why do I think with filters in general and Facetune is like, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't do it, but I want to do what I can to even change my own psychology of wanting to use it. And I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but if we can do little things by putting out campaigns with no Photoshop and showing ourselves in our skin, my whole theory is like, not theory, but movement is around mask your hues or like rock your hues, but either way, live in your hues.
Yeah.
Like it's like the idea of like, it's a choice. Makeup should not be anything but a choice. It should just be fun. Like beat your face to like the gods because you want to, not because society's telling you you're supposed to.
Right. I always love to have fun with makeup. Like when I met you, I had orange eyeshadow.
It was so good.
I was, I'm always like, let's have fun with it. But I also like, I'm the first one to say like, sometimes I see some of these like models and I'm like, oh, like I wish I could be like that, but I'm not naturally like that pretty. I have to beat my face. It's just like how it is. I love to be beat. I don't know if it's an Armenian thing because we like to go to everywhere.
I think it is an Armenian thing.
We like to go to the market like it's an Armenian wedding. I don't know. I just,
But that's okay. And I think that's the thing. I really want it to be like, you should just feel comfortable doing what you want to do. You love doing that. So you're doing it. And I personally would be barefaced every day. And I 99% of the time really am. And I finally, at 30 years old, feel comfortable doing that. Yeah. It took me 30 years though.
And by the way, she just celebrated her birthday. So happy birthday. Now 30 for me was such a great year because you have many epiphanies.
So all the epiphanies.
And for some reason it happens at 30. Yeah. I don't know why. It's like
does.
it just comes, it hits you like from left and right. I had an epiphany to start my online talk show at 30. I had an epiphany to cut a lot of people out of my life that I felt like were toxic, but I didn't realize it. It just starts hitting you like.
It's weird. The older you get, the more you realize life is precious, and what do you want to spend it doing?
Yeah.
And so, 75% of the people of your life, just you start to realize, like, actually, I'd rather just stay in and have me time and get my energy back on a Friday rather than going to get a drink with someone I don't really want to go.
Right. Yeah.
You protect your energy more. I think I'm recognizing that I gave so much to my profession the last few years of my life, and I want to keep doing that, but I also need to find me time. And I value it more now than I did last year, and I'm excited to do that. Yeah. Family time is increasingly more important to me.
Your mom she needs
cute.
her own reality show. I would watch it.
She really does.
Wait, is your mom on your case to get married?
Okay, this is the thing. My sister just got married this like last year.
Oh, so give it a couple months. They're still digesting that.
And they're like, okay, she's starting this company. I get it, but they're officially on my case.
They're on
officially.
Your case.
They try to play it cool. My dad's like, oh, I don't want you to like wake up when you're 70 and blame me. So do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But subtly they'll start being like, Deepica, blah, 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 auntie called me and their son's single. And I'm like, okay. I personally don't care about ethnicity and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things that I'm not on apps. Like I tried. I actually am on Bumble, but like
But Bumble could be like used for business. It could be used for like
that's really why I started doing it. But I am another thing at 30 I feel comfortable finally saying is I think as women that like strong women, you feel very like, I don't need no man. I got this. I got this, blah, blah, blah. I feel comfortable for the first time in my life saying like, no, I don't need a man, but it would be nice to have a partner. Yeah. It would be nice to have someone to share this with. And you know, this journey is very lonely. I literally can't imagine meeting a man who like would understand my life and make sense, but I'm not going to put that energy out into the world anymore. My friend Lily Gleachy, I'm sure you know.
Oh, I love Lily, yes.
She said this to me. She literally was like, I was like, I don't know. I just care about having a kid. I don't really care about having a man. This was like 6 months ago. And she was like, don't say that. And I was like, what? And she was like, just don't put that energy out into the world. You're lying. You don't want to have a kid. She was like, trust me, having a kid is a lot of responsibility. She's like, you don't have to, but it would be a great thing to be able to share it with somebody.
You can have a child without a partner. That's 100% you can.
Yeah.
Is it easy? It's very difficult.
That's what she said.
Even in, I'm married. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And it is so difficult. And we are lucky to have help. My mom lives in LA. My mother-in-law lives in LA. It is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Like, you work long days and then I get home and I want to be present for the kids, but I'm so tired. I can't imagine being by myself to do that. It's really, really difficult. And
I totally get that. And when she said that, it really hit me. She's like, stop putting that energy into the world because that's toxic energy. Not toxic energy, but people can feel that energy.
Yeah.
So like, stop saying that because you don't really want that. And she's right. I think what I really meant by that was the happiness that children give me. I can't imagine feeling that from a man because I just haven't in so long.
Well, yeah, maybe it's because you probably haven't been meeting the right guys.
That too.
Because like, I don't know. When I think about Ray, it's just like we have such great moments together. And like,
how'd y'all meet?
We actually met 3 hours after I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, and by accident. We met by accident, just like me and you met. We met by accident. No, it was like
it was fate.
It was fate. We met. Oh, you want to hear the real story?
Yeah.
So I met him. Well, I went to Santa Barbara. So the blonde hair,
the contacts.
Yeah, contacts. And I was dating this like guy. And it didn't work out with him. And it was like my first boyfriend. I was single and loving life at UC Santa Barbara. But I met this guy and he's like older and started doing things that like people have never done for me before, like whining and dining. I've never done that before. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool, right? So he ends up breaking up with me. And I was devastated. I came back to LA and my mom was like, you don't cry over a man. Like, the typical things your mom will tell you when you have a breakdown, right? And then my cousin was like, listen, I just met this guy. He has a friend. You have to meet him. He just moved down here from Villanova. I think you should meet him. And I was like, I don't want to meet anyone. I'm just, right, that whole like thing about I don't want to meet, and I got this. So I go to a trailer park because my cousin forgot to tell me that they were going to this RV park in Manhattan Beach where like they have campfires and all that stuff, things that I am not used to.
Yeah.
This doesn't know anything about campfires and
same.
Right? I was dressed up like this and I went to the campfire not knowing where I'm going. And everybody's in like sweats and stuff and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awkward. So I get wasted and start talking about my ex-boyfriend the whole night. And I start throwing up all over the place. Not pretty. And that's what you want to meet the first, like your future husband, especially.
Oh my God, but then you did.
But then like, here's the thing. That was the worst he's ever seen me. And he liked me at my worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been like a great journey with them because like, we built the company together. We have 2 kids. So it's like, it's been a nice journey. And of course, like marriage is not easy. I think it's easier to like not be married. But like you learn to like work it out and work through things. And I think like, Lily said, and like, you're feeling, I think it's nice to share good things with someone, like a partner.
I think that really is it. If it's the right person, it could be incredible. The wrong person, it could be
right.
Just
and
toxic.
I feel like from what you're telling me, I think you've had an issue meeting the right guys. And I think I have someone for you.
Oh my God.
So you guys, I am going to try to set her up on a date with someone I feel like could be very compatible to her. I have set up people in the past and they've gotten married. And they have kids now.
I mean, I feel like the best way to meet people is through your friends because it's a filter in life. So I'm going to stop saying I've said no for every time somebody's like, I have a person for you. I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm no longer going to say that.
No, you're open to it.
I'm open to it.
Listen, like,
Good
you're
energy.
at a great place in your life right now.
I feel like that. I think it's just a beautiful thing to be at 30, and my dream was to launch this company.
You're living your dream right now.
I am.
You're living your dream. Where do you see the Live Tinted going? Like, where do you see in the next 5 years?
Man, it's really tough because when we launched as a community, there were so many opportunities that came our way, like podcasts, conferences. Like, you know, I looked at Create and Cultivate and I was like, wow, like,
she's been here before, Jacqueline.
She's amazing. And we're working on things together. So I'm very, very excited. She's been so supportive. And I think that when I look at those things, and I'm like, we did merch and there's just, the world is our oyster. But at the end of the day, I need to focus my efforts to know that I really want to make an impact in the beauty industry, because that to me is something that's personal, that I know that I have the power to make an impact, and this community has the voices to make the impact. And so for me, I'm concentrated on continuing to create more beauty products based on what the community tells us they want. And
I love that you are listening to the audience.
Always, no matter what. I mean, I wish more brands did that, and I hope it sets a standard for other people to do that and build with them and listen to them and continue to building. I'm excited to do merch collabs with people from the community. Yeah. That's the way I want to build merchandise with us. It's like we have incredible artists in this space that like need to be amplified. And so if we can partner with them, we're going to do more of that. We're going to keep doing our video series. I think it's just, for me, I want to keep growing this community out, create more products, and my dream is to one day have an acquisition partner that will help us scale it, take it internationally, and really make a global impact in what we want to do with inclusivity.
But I already feel like you're making an impact.
Thank you.
On your own. So congrats
you.
On that. You know, it's gotten a lot of people's attention. It's gotten my attention. Like, people are inspired by it. I'm very inspired by it.
Thank you.
And I'm like excited. Like I mentioned to you, like I feel like we are setting the precedent for the future. For like,
I just want it to be like a girl, like your daughter at 3 years old is growing up in a world where she has the option of being exactly who she wants to be and not what a magazine wants her to be.
Right.
And the magazines are going to change. And so like for me, I think about it and I'm like, man, like I'm really a big believer in manifestation.
So am I, yeah.
I've always spoken things into existence. It was like after I went on the Today Show, people were like, what do you want to do next? I was like, I want to be on E! News. I did that. And they're like, what do you want to do? I want to launch my own brand. I did that. And it's like, now I'm saying like, I want us to make an impact in the media. I want Live Tinted to be places where you see faces you've never seen in the media before, showcased and highlighted. And I don't want it to be, and that's the other thing is everyone always asks me like, well, why aren't you on the page more? Why aren't you featured more? And I'm like, because it's not about me. I want to like use what I've built for the past few years to help elevate their voices. Yeah. It just, to me, it just makes me that much more like it feels like my purpose. You know, I'm sure you think about what do you feel like your purpose is?
My purpose is something that I talk about a lot on this podcast and it wasn't like this when I started. So when I started, the purpose wasn't what it is now. But, you know, and the last year was like a big year for me. I launched a show with Kim, Glam Masters on Lifetime.
Of course.
I did my first movie as an actress, which was like very big. I've never acted before in my life.
Wow.
And a lot of people are surprised because they thought the second I had a kid, the career was going to be over. And especially the fact that I'm Armenian, like I'm married and I have 2 kids. When I mentioned the acting thing, they're like, what? Are you out of your mind? And I want to change the like conversations people have of women in their 30s who are moms about like what they can do and can't do. And you know, we've heard like people like Kim talk about it, like, well, she'll wear a bathing suit and people will come after her like, you're a mom, you shouldn't wear that. I really want to like give back to women of diversity, especially moms, to know that like if you have a dream and it's 35 or it's 40 or 40, like you could still do it. Like totally. I saw my old friend the other day and she, you know, we used to work together. And she, she's a lot older than I am, and she just started a new career, and she's a single mom. And I was like, good for you.
Amazing.
It's never too late.
I didn't know how to do anything on YouTube. I didn't know anything about production, but I just got started, and I didn't worry about perfection. The video wasn't the right way. It has 11 million views. Like, it didn't matter. And so I think it's the biggest thing that stops people from starting is just that voice in your head.
Right.
You're trying to perfect it, and you're like, well, I have to get a business plan together. I have to, like, I don't have enough time to do this, and I don't know when I'm going to begin, because all these other, it's excuse, and it's your own voice in your own head. The second you clear all those voices out, you just start, and then you get better and better and better, and then your business at 30 is launched, and you're the happiest you've ever been.
What is something that you've learned in the last like 3 years that you've been doing beauty vlogging that you continue to tell yourself whenever you have like those days that you just don't want to get out of bed?
You know what I do is whenever I get emails, DMs, or comments from men, I save it into an email inbox. I screenshot them and put them in a folder in my phone because I go through severe anxiety. I've been very open about it, where it's just like this up and down thing. I've gone to the doctor for it and everything. It's one of those things where I'm actively looking for a therapist in LA, by the way. If you have any,
many.
Great, awesome.
Yes, healers, shamans, I have it all.
Send
You're
them my
in
way.
the right place.
I just think it's important to be open about having therapists and talking about these things, because I think from the outside it looks like the world that you see on social media is so glamorized, and I am 90% not okay for the 10% that I am.
It's a lot of work that I put into, and I'm going to talk about myself. I put a lot of work to be balanced and sane. You know, like I have a therapist. I see shamans. I see healers. I do like sound bath like once a week.
My God, amazing.
I have someone really good in Pasadena. I'll give you your number.
Yes, great.
It takes a lot of work. And you know what? Maybe other people don't need it as much as I do, but I'm coming from a world of like every day you're a target.
Noise.
Every day you hear noise. There's a lot of clutter. And also like I've been dealing with a lot of struggles with my dad's death. You know, like it was his 9-year anniversary on last Friday of his death. Like, so I still have a lot of things I'm dealing with that I'm trying to understand about life and grasp. And then at the same time with the noises we hear.
Totally.
You know, it's not easy being out there.
It's not at all easy being out there, but I think it's just in general the idea of being open about what you're going through and not trying to put smoke and mirrors is just important.
It's very important.
In every lens, whether you're in the media or not, it's just being honest with yourself. And I think that for me, I have these every time I feel low, I look at those messages and so many of them just say, keep going. You're making a difference. Thank you. Like, because of you, I feel like I can do this. And it's like, oh my God, like Deepica, like as much as you don't take the time every day to recognize what you're doing, you are making a difference, and I feel like I'm just getting started with that, so I can't stop. It's like I almost feel like I have to owe it to people.
Do you feel like the anxiety comes from social media and YouTube? Be honest.
I think I had it before then. I think it's been 10x heightened because of it. I definitely have felt the pressure of numbers, especially after launching my company. I stopped doing as much content and posts for social media because my full focus was on the company. I just didn't care about my own brand. And I felt it. It like hit me at one point, and I was like, oh my God. And then I realized it, and I was like, the greatest leaders that I admire either aren't on social media or have much smaller followings than me because they've been so focused on building and creating an impact much larger than themselves.
It's important for you to say that. I think it's so important for people to hear that because it's become a numbers game.
And I think if I was sitting here saying, I don't care, I would be lying. I don't care most days, but then there's days I of course do, because I think about, I'm like, how am I going to make an impact without this following of this size? And it's like, actually you're making that impact now, and you were making it before, and there's people without a social following that are still making an impact. So it's possible in all different verticals, and there's different ways to do it.
It's so funny because this weekend I was having a conversation with my husband, and I was like, Ray, I'm about to launch this product, and I'm like really worried. I'm really excited. I'll tell you why. But I was like, I'm really worried because I feel like seeing other people do their launches, it's a little bit like extravagant, over the top, and that's not like how I'm going to start. And it's raunchy, and I'm like, do I have to do these things to get attention in this day and age? And he was like, Diana, look at some of like your idols. They have not done any of that stuff with the with the following we're talking about, and they've done pretty well.
Yes. And you're right, because you see it on social media, and you see these extravagant launch events and all this stuff happening, and when I watch it, I'm like, good for them. That's the way they're doing it, and it's working for them. It's not who I am. It's not what I want to do.
Well, in my head, I was like, is this the route that I have to take as a business? I'm talking like like the business hat is on. And what you're saying has a lot of merit because, like, no, you don't really.
You know what I did that was the exact opposite approach is I'm focused on, I hate even this word because I don't think of them that way, but nano and micro influencers, because to me, they're the most genuine voices on social media. It's not about a paycheck. It's not about their following count. It's just people with their passion and their opinions, and they're voicing it from a genuine place. And that's what I feel like the Live Tinted community is fully comprised of. And that to me is exciting. And I want to continue to amplify those voices because they're the ones that truly are speaking from their heart.
Yeah, and you never know where those voices go in the next year or 2 years and 3 years, and they're going to always respect you for believing in them.
And I also think so with social media now, like some of the best content we've received on like the hashtag Live Tinted is these incredible people that actually have zero following, but who cares? It's beautiful content, and so we post them.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, it's this idea of like social media is what you make of it. You can make it a positive space or a negative space, and it's like, what do you want to, what part of the social media narrative do you want to play?
How has your Indian background influenced your life?
I think in every aspect.
And your business sense as well, like.
So my dad is the hardest working person I've ever met in my life. He's the youngest of 7 brothers. They're all doctors, and he's the only one who's not. And he is a lab tech. I grew up with my father as a lab tech. And the interesting thing about that is my mom is a businesswoman. She's an incredible like boss, and I definitely get that from her, but I get my work ethic from my father. And it's really interesting because seeing my dad go from being an immigrant coming to the United States, he worked at an Arby's, got like literally stories of him being like put in a trunk because they were like robbing Arby's, to being in this beautiful home that we're in now. He drove a Honda Accord and got me a BMW at 16 years old. And it makes me like sick to my stomach because I'm like, I'm such a brat, because now that I understand finances, by no means could we afford to be getting me that car at 16 years old. But my dad told me, and he tells me to this day, that the look on my eyes when I went to that dealership, he was like, I couldn't say no. He was like, we're going to figure it out. I couldn't say no. I begged for that Abercrombie and Fitch shirt. I mean, these are all things that make me like sick to my stomach, because I grew up where my dad was like, I don't want my daughter to not have the things that everyone around her had. So he just figured it out. He worked overtime shift after overtime shift. And I grew up being really embarrassed of them. I didn't want people to come to my house because it smelled like curry. I didn't want my mom to be in the public and come to PTA things because she had an accent. And for me now, there's nobody I love spending time with more than my mom and dad. And it's this weird narrative of, as you get older, you're like, wow, like, who loves you and cares about you and is going to be there for you more than anyone else in the world? And I think the more we're in this space, the more we're in social media, you realize there's a lot of people that'll just come at you because they want things from you. And there's no one more pure than a mom, as you know. So I think for me, my cultural background, I for Live Tinted want more than anything for people to, if they come to our page and they walk away a little more proud of their culture and where they came from, I feel like we've done our job.
I just love watching your mom. She's so funny and entertaining. Like, I could watch her for days.
She does need a reality show. You're right.
She does.
Because she is so like just herself and doesn't care. And you know, and I'm so happy. It took a lot. Like, I was worried she would like try to put on a filter. She put zero filter.
Zero filter. Yeah.
Her Indian accent's my favorite thing. And it's just, you see the pure love of a mom, and we like cook together. And I guess for me now, I want to showcase her because I hope that like a girl growing up realizes like your mom's actually the coolest person in your life.
My parents spoiled me in the same way that you're talking about. Like, since my mom got married at 18, you know, she really wanted me to like to be the opposite of her. So she didn't want me to cook or clean because that's what she had to do as a kid, right? So she kind of made like the anti.
I was the same.
Like, I don't want you to cook. I don't want you to clean. Like, I never would even pick up anything from the table because she got it. She took care of it. And now I feel like that kind of got me handicapped because like now I'm just like, I don't know how to do anything. So I'm like slowly just starting to learn how to cook. Is that weird?
Not at all weird.
And you know why I started? Because I have kids now, and I'm just like, I don't want to keep feeding them stuff from outside the house. I want to make them healthy food. So now I'm interested about cooking.
Okay, but I will also say something that I feel like we can both be proud of is like, yes, I feel like I was a bratty kid, but we could have turned out to be bratty humans. And I think our work ethic and what we're doing with our lives, like I used to be hard on myself about it and be really down. Like, wow, I can't believe I put my parents through all those things. But I think what matters now is that they are. I got a text from my dad yesterday that made me tear up. He was like, I am so proud of you. It's crazy that I can't walk to any restaurant and not get asked if I'm your dad. And like, it like, when I hear that, I'm like, you know what? Yes, I did what I did. I was a dumb kid. But if I can leave a legacy that they're proud of, then they, I know, will just be happy for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
What is the legacy you want to leave?
I want to somehow like say that like at the end of the day, my footprint in the sand is that like I did something to make the beauty space just a little more positive. And for me, that's making it more about like diversity. And I just think that it's such a negative space, and it's made me do crazy things to myself and question things about myself.
Yes.
And it's like, if I can just shift it a little bit to make a girl feel like she can be who she wants to be, then I did what I feel like my purpose was for me personally.
Well, I think you're doing it. So congrats. I don't even think you're like you're already leaving your footprints. I feel like you're already leaving the legacy. Like you're there.
But I think as a human, what I want to be remembered for, and I realize this more and more, and meeting people like you recognize there are kind people in this industry, and there's just kind people in general. And if people can walk away saying like, she was just really nice, like she was a good person, like that's what's all this other stuff is bullshit. Like all this other stuff is fluff.
It's interesting because I feel like I've been in this industry for for a while, right? And I feel like the relationships is what lasts. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people that have come in and like they burn the bridges and then they they get filtered out, you know? So I feel like it's really important, number one, to be a good person.
Relationships I will attribute to so much of my success. Is like
here.
But without even like strategically trying. It was like I just met somebody and they happened to be an incredible person.
Well, I feel like because we were sitting at a table at the Shiseido dinner, there was a lot of people. Yeah. But like I just loved your energy, and I'm just like, wait, what else do you have to say?
Yeah, I felt the same way. And you know what else is crazy? Is I used to be at those events and just stare at people and feel like they were staring at me and looking at what I looked like, what I was wearing. I used to have such anxiety about all of that stuff. I no longer care about being the hottest girl in the room. Yeah. I used to be like, I need to be the girl that walks in and I'm in the cutest outfit, blah, blah, blah. I wear what I want to wear and dress what I want to dress because I want to feel good. Yeah. But I no longer care if somebody's like, that girl is like hot or stunning or whatever. It's like, wow, I really loved her energy. That's the best compliment.
Well, here's the funny part is I feel like I'm pretty confident when it comes to things. Sometimes those events like give me anxiety.
Of
and
course.
I'm pretty confident. Like hair, no makeup, like hair, no hair. Like,
I can feel that you are. Yeah.
But sometimes, you guys, I walk into those events and it gets a little like intense, and there's like a little cattiness that it's like unspoken of, and I'm just like,
I don't go to them anymore unless I honestly. That's just what I told Tiffany. I was like, unless I love the brand, right, or I'm supporting a friend.
Yes, Tiffany's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's someone that's like very supportive from like from her past company that she worked at. Like, right? Yeah. It's like you support people.
But that's another example of like the relationships, right? She went from philosophy to Shiseido, and she carried her relationships from one company to another. Right. And you just continue to do that, and you work with people you want to work with. At this point, there's so many influencers out there. There's so many brands out there. No influencer has to work with any brand, and no brand has to work with any influencer. Right. You work with the ones you want to. And you have a good relationship with, and you want to be around.
So advice to some of the people who listen to this podcast, because people who listen to this podcast are always asking for advice. So if someone's listening right now and they want to build a career as an influencer, because now that is a career, being an influencer, what would you say?
The first thing I would say is start posting on your Instagram what you want to be known for. So like if you're wanting to work with Shiseido, start posting and tagging Shiseido so you start to organically show up on their feed. You can't say, I want Nike to sponsor me, and then literally just be a makeup page. Reflect it's literally a manifestation thing. Like speak it into existence if you want that to happen. It's your resume. It's literally your resume. And so show on your resume what you want. It's your portfolio almost. The other thing I would say is don't be shy to DM the brands that you're interested in working with and ask for their PR contact. Go and try and set up a meeting. These are the things that will set you apart from the other people who are just expecting somebody to find them. And that's just not how the world works. There might be the 1%, 2% that happens to, but it's just not the way the world works. And I did both of these things, by the way. And then the third thing I would say is if you are an event, first of all, find a way to go to these events. And whether it's you're tagging along to somebody else or you hear about it, look on sites, websites, Google it. And when you're at these events, do not be shy to go talk to the brand partners and go up and talk to people. Mm-hmm. The first time I ever met Jessica Alba was when she was in the Edition Hotel in New York City sitting with some dude, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go say hi because I like love her. Yeah. And I did it in a way I was like, look, like I whatever I said in that 1 minute, she said sit down, and we've been friends since. Wow. And my point of sharing that story is literally not a humble brag, but just to say that holy shit, Jessica Alba, A-list celebrity, whatever, blah blah blah, and me just a random girl at a bar. It's about literally I think it's about how you approach people, your intent, and know why you want to speak to them. And I always say when you talk to them, what can you do for them? Always think about what you can do for them rather than what they can do for you. Mm-hmm. I feel like people are always like, I'd love to take you for coffee. But instead of saying that, think about like, I have some ideas for Live Tinted that I really think could help drive your business forward and help me just get that one extra easy way of saying yes. Like why say yes? Time is so finite.
Don't you feel like also like maybe with the Jessica Alba thing, like you were very sincere and she probably felt that you didn't really need anything from her.
That's
was
the
like
thing.
A
it's
sincere
like
thing, right?
That really is it. Also, is that like at the end of the day, I felt like she was going to be a good person. So I wasn't nervous to just be myself, and I didn't feel like I had to lie and try to be like this fake persona. I was like I kind of geeked out, but then I also was like I truly did have an idea. I was wearing her Truly Berry Kissable Lip product from Honest Beauty. And I literally went up to her and I was like, I really love this product. I think you guys should do XYZ with it. And she was like, sit down, let's talk.
Yeah.
And it really was coming from a place of I'm a marketer.
Right.
And so I was like, I thought about this and I was like, you should partner with this person. And I think like when you approach things like that, that's what taught me, without even knowing, I went to her giving her an idea of something that could help her, but it wasn't an intentional thing.
Right.
But so that's why I'm giving advice now is like, just think about everyone is really busy and time is so finite. If people don't respond or they're saying no to you, it may not have anything to do with except for
don't
the fact
take it
that
personal. Yes.
they could just be busy or it wasn't the right opportunity. You cannot have an ego. That's my last piece of advice.
This is like great words to depart this show with. Like, don't have an ego. Sometimes we all take things so personal. It has nothing to do with you.
Literally. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
coming. That was fun.
In.
We could talk for hours.
Yeah, we could talk for hours. well, we'll set up the dinner.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We just happened to walk into a dinner.
Set up. We won't talk
it.
about where it is, just in case he's listening to this. Okay, where can everybody find you?
At Deepica on Instagram, DEEPICA, but more importantly, at LIVETINTED, Live Tinted.
Yes, you guys make sure to follow Deepica. Her posts are inspirational. Her mom is hilarious. Her YouTube videos are awesome. You guys have to check it out. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.